Good evening. Welcome to the Pearl Report. I'm Diana Lin. Nobel Peace Prize laureate Liu Xiaobo has passed away after being diagnosed with late-stage liver cancer while he was in jail. He was 61. Beijing slammed him as a subversive dissident, while the rest of the world regarded him as a human rights champion. What did he do? We look back on his life through his writings, his experiences, and his friends' memories. Liu Xiaobo embarked on his battle for democracy as a young academic.
The whole world should change its mentality. Chinese people have the ability, the power, the confidence to decide on their own destiny.
Since the June 4th crackdown in 1989, he was incarcerated 4 times, but still chose to stay in China.
June 4th killed so many people and their souls haven't been appeased.
Mainland China saw Liu Xiaobo as a subversive dissident and jailed him for 11 years. But he was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. His wife has long been under house arrest.
Freedom is an extravagant luxury for us.
They were finally reunited, only to be parted forever.
He's the symbol of justice, and is going to be influential for a long time. Even after his demise, his spirit will become part of the collective memory of the whole nation.
Over a decade ago, Guangzhou dissident Ye Du ran an online forum on China's democratization. Authorities shut it down over 40 times, but he noted a regular visitor. His alias was water-skinned dried shrimp.
Water skin of water was bo, and dry shrimp. Liu's wife is Liu Xia, sister Xia, and dry shrimp are homophonous. Was that Liu Xiaobo? He immediately responded with a surprised look. Yes, I'm Liu Xiaobo. How did you know I'm Liu Xiaobo?
Liu Xiaobo was 10 years Ye Du's senior. The two became net pals, chatting into the wee hours. Ye became one of the first listeners of Liu's articles, as he enjoyed reading them out loud.
In reciting them, he found the style of intonation, the article's appeal, and any wrong words. After he finished writing, he would open the messenger software and asked us to listen and comment. Often we chatted until 5 or 6 or even 7 or 8 a.m. Some 10 years on, I'm still only able to fall asleep at 5 or 6 a.m. It's become a habit, thanks to Liu Xiaobo.
Liu developed final-stage cancer in jail and was granted medical parole for treatment in a hospital in Shenyang. Ye Du chased news of him daily. On the day we interviewed Ye, Liu Xiaobo passed away at 5:35 p.m.
I believe most Chinese haven't heard of Liu Xiaobo because for years his name had been sensitive, so a majority of the population never knew there was such a person who made a sacrifice for them. And paid such a price for the freedom of the country and its people.
Liu Xiaobo was born in 1955 to an intellectual's family in Changchun, Jilin Province. He studied Chinese at Jilin University and obtained his doctorate degree at Beijing Normal University. He spent time abroad as a visiting scholar. In an interview in 1989, he talked about civic consciousness.
Teach the government to get used to people participating in politics through demonstrations, strikes, and non-governmental organizations. Concurrently, teach the masses to exercise their constitutional rights, talk to the government on an equal basis, and participate in politics.
In 2009, Liu Xiaobo wrote this in his autobiography.
My academic career was all smooth sailing. Upon receiving my degrees, I stayed on to teach at Beijing Normal University. As a teacher, I was well received by the students. At the same time, I was a public intellectual. What I demanded of myself was this: whether as a person or as a writer, I would lead a life of honesty, responsibility, and dignity.
Mr. Liu Xiaobo was very famous in the 80s among Beijing's youthful academics. At the time, he was dubbed a literary dark horse. He had a critical spirit. We all heard about him at that time. We often got together until 1989.
Dissident Zhang Lun has been exiled in France for over 20 years. He was Liu Xiaobo's friend in the 1989 pro-democracy movement in Beijing.
I think Xiaobo was a very genuine person. He wrote poetry and joined in literary creation. Actually, politics was not his profession. It also seemed he shouldn't participate in politics. He was not suited to politics. However, his sincerity made him care about social justice and development in China.
We hope to declare, with this hunger strike, the whole world should change its mentality. Chinese people have the ability, the power, the confidence to decide on their own destiny.
In April 1989, Liu Xiaobo, then a visiting scholar in the U.S., returned to Beijing to join the pro-democracy movement. He, Hao Dejian, and two others went on a hunger strike for the students. They were dubbed the Four Gentlemen of Tiananmen Square.
It's best to launch a peaceful, continuous, very tough and calm pro-democracy movement, or even open a democracy university in Tiananmen Square, because this square was a symbol of autocracy. Today, it's a symbol of democracy and freedom.
After the gory crackdown of June 4th, Liu Xiaobo was accused of being one of the black hands of the movement and charged with counter-revolutionary propaganda and incitement.
At the time, there was bloodshed on East and West Chang'an Boulevard. Many people were killed or injured. Liu Xiaobo and Hao Dejian negotiated with military officers to devise a plan to convince the students to withdraw from Tiananmen Square peacefully. If it wasn't so, blood was shed like rivers in Tiananmen Square. So he actually helped the government.
In all these years, freedom is an extravagant luxury to us. We're often being followed, watched, and our house being raided. That's why it feels like freedom is not achievable by only one or two of us.
Merely for publishing different political views and taking part in a peaceful democracy movement, A teacher lost his lectern, a writer lost his right to publish, and a public intellectual lost the opportunity to give talks publicly. This is a tragedy, both for me personally and for a China that has already seen 30 years of reform and opening up.
Liu Xiaobo had lost his freedom several times since the 1989 pro-democracy movement, but he did not leave China.
When Liu Xiaobo was put in prison, he said to his friend that he has no hatred against anybody. What he has is an ideal for the country. And he will continue to fight for the realization of human rights and freedom for China.
In 1999, Liu Xiaobo was released. He kept in close touch with the Tiananmen mothers and openly called for a re-evaluation of June 4th.
We can't forget, just because some 10 years have passed. Many people died in the June 4th crackdown, not from natural disasters, but killed by the Communist Party's guns, bayonets, and tanks. The nature is extremely ruthless, extremely serious. The departed souls haven't been vindicated. The historical problem of June 4th hasn't been fairly rectified.
As a survivor, he lived in China for so many years and didn't stop fighting for the redress of the 89. He isn't a god, but Mr. Liu Xiaobo's sincerity made him surpass many people.
Zhang Lun says he kept in contact with Liu Xiaobo until Liu was arrested again. He could see changes in his old friend.
We had some communication. He was always pondering how to promote democracy and social progress in China. He was steadfast in his pursuit of ideals. Where he changed was he became less passionate than he was in the 80s. He became more matured and more rational.
To push for democracy in China, Liu Xiaobo drafted Charter 08. He spent the last leg of his life's journey in jail. He became the only Chinese to be awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. That and more. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Pearl Report. A friend says Liu Xiaobo loved soccer. Lionel Messi from FC Barcelona was his idol. He hoped Messi could have encouraged Liu in his last days. It was his wife, Liu Xia, who stayed by his side. Liu remained in China to fight for democracy, and his final wish was to go abroad with his wife. Liu Xiaobo's personal freedom had been restricted for a long period of time. He once wrote, "Being incarcerated for dignity and freedom is part of a dissident's journey against dictatorship." Liu Xiaobo drafted and issued Charter 08 in 2008 to demand constitutional amendments, end one-party rule, and advocate local direct elections. Ye Du and Zhang Lun were first among 300 scholars and lawyers to sign the petition.
Charter 08 was very simple. It was about how 20 years have gone by, how to pass on the spirit of the 1989 movement, how to let China transform peacefully, allow China to truly become a country with rule of law and constraints on the authorities.
Later, tens of thousands signed the petition, and Liu Xiaobo was arrested.
A dictatorial authority never fears the resistance of one individual. It fears organization. Through his own efforts, Liu Xiaobo, a nascent organization and network of resistance was formed in China. The Chinese government could not tolerate that.
One of his greatest achievements is his drafting of this 08 Charter, together with a group of 303 public intellectuals, elites in China, because of his influence that made the Chinese government become very frightened.
I was subjected to year-round monitoring. kept under residential surveillance and sent to re-education through labor. Once again shoved into the dock by the enemy mentality of the regime. But I still want to say to this regime, I have no enemies and no hatred.
He understood if dissidents used the Communist Party's methods to counter the Communist Party, they would ultimately turn into another Communist Party. So he hoped more civilian liberal groups would have the open-mindedness. His greatest political legacy is not seeing others as enemies.
At the end of 2009, Liu Xiaobo was convicted of inciting subversion of state power and sentenced to jail for 11 years.
He asked me to try to live happily outside. I asked him to try to live contentedly inside. He said he wished to be China's last person to be convicted for speech.
In February 2010, Beijing's High Court rejected Liu Xiaobo's appeal.
I feel satisfied just holding him, because in jail we will always be separated by glass and talk via a phone. We won't touch each other for 11 years.
That same year, the Norwegian Nobel Committee awarded Liu Xiaobo the Peace Prize for his long-term, non-violent struggle for fundamental human rights in China. Liu Xiaobo's wife, Liu Xia, was not able to accept the award on his behalf. Subsequently, she was under house arrest. In 2012, dissident Hu Jia and other activists broke the police cordon to visit Liu Xia, who'd been under house arrest for 2 years, during which her parents died. Her brother was convicted of fraud and jailed for 11 years.
我最希望上法庭被他们审一下，作为刘晓波的妻子就有罪。
你希望小波快点恢复自由吗？
我都没自由。我很悲观。
The government openly denied that she was detained. Obviously, the government was very frightened that she may speak out loudly to the whole world as the wife of Liu Xiaobo is totally uncivilized, acting in total contempt of the law.
劉霞唔係一個關心政治嘅人。
Liu Xia herself is apolitical. Due to her ties with Liu Xiaobo, she was forced to become a political martyr. She wanted to succeed Liu Xiaobo. After Liu Xiaobo won the Nobel Peace Prize, she refused to leave the country. She didn't dare mention her suffering.
Throughout all these years that I have lived without freedom, our love was full of bitterness, imposed by outside circumstances. But as I savor its aftertaste, it remains boundless. Allow me to always keep peace, openness, and brightness in my heart, and fill every minute of my time in prison with meaning. Even if I were crushed into powder, I would still use my ashes to embrace you.
Liu Xiaobo jailed, Liu Xia under house arrest. They were reunited for a period of time in a hospital in Shenyang. In late June, the administration of prisons confirmed Liu Xiaobo was diagnosed with late-stage liver cancer and approved his medical parole. Soon after, his condition rapidly deteriorated.
In
prison, how would you suddenly find a fist-sized tumor in his liver that has spread all over his body? Why the delay in discovering he was ill?
A Chinese poet and dissident exiled in Germany posted a letter online from Liu Xia.
I crave escape. Didn't expect Liu Xiaobo to agree to leave with Liu Hui and I. He was so worried about my health.
especially when she was not able to see his friend and she has been deprived of medical treatment for a long time.
Liu Xiaobo proposed medical parole abroad with Liu Xia. Foreign cancer experts visiting him in Shenyang agreed to take them, but the hospital said Liu couldn't be transferred in his condition. Liu died in mainland China.
The last time he spoke with his family was extremely short, mainly bidding farewell to his lover, telling her to lead a good life.
I look forward to the day when my country is a land with freedom of expression, where all political views will spread out under the sun for people to choose from, where every citizen can state political views without fear, and where no one can, under any circumstances, suffer political persecution for voicing divergent political views.
His demise would not bring an end to his dream. His spirit could not be destroyed.
In recent years, rule by law hasn't changed the suppression of political dissidents. Looking back at Liu Xiaobo's life, we might all have to rethink how to go forward.
I hope Liu's struggle and sacrifice wouldn't be wasted. I think history will remember his struggle and sacrifice.
The only thing he might have felt sorry about was Liu Xia. He has done right for the country and for the country's people.
I hope that I will be the last victim of China's endless literary inquisitions, and that from now on, no one will be incriminated because of speech. In order to exercise the right to freedom of speech conferred by the Constitution, one should fulfill the social responsibility of a Chinese citizen. There is nothing criminal in anything I have done, but if charges are brought against me because of this, I have no complaints.
Well, thank you for watching our show. It will be re-aired on Monday, Tuesday, and Saturday, as well as online and on mobile apps. Until next time, from the Pearl Report team, good night, good luck, and good health.